The flag of the Republic of Turkey, or Turkey, is this bold red flag with the crescent moon and single star. There are many national flags that hold these symbols, usually to represent the largest faith in their country, that of Islam. But where does the crescent moon and star originate from? And is it really linked to Islam? Welcome to This Flag's in 50 Places. I'm in Turkey's largest city, Istanbul, once the capital that straddles two continents, Europe to the west and Asia to the east. And one thing you'll notice here, and in many cities around the country, is the national flag. They are everywhere, a bit like mosques in Istanbul. The crescent moon and star appear in many national flags, such as the tricolours of Azerbaijan and Libya, or the bicolours of Algeria and Pakistan. The USA looky-likey Malaysia, or smile on the Mauritania. And as for the Turkish Republic of Northern Cyprus, which gets its full influence from Turkey, then you'll need this link above so you don't miss that episode. Also, there's a link in the description so you can watch that a bit later. The Turkish flag, known locally as Al-Sankak, or the Red Banner, while originated from the Ottoman times in 1844, was adopted officially on the 29th of May, 1936, while the flag itself is a simple 2:3 ratio. Because why complicate things? The construction of the design is a little more, well, detailed, to say the least. Is it that this symbol comes from the zodiac? Were the Turks an astrological people? Did the moon mean that people really loved cheese? Or is it a lift from the Turkish Space Agency? Nearly, the star muscles in on the logo there. No to all of that. For the origins, we must look at where Turkey's flag comes from, which will allow us to find the answer. So, this is the flag of Turkey, and this is the flag of the Ottoman Empire. And now let's play Spot the Difference. Indeed. When Turkey became a republic in 1923 at the fall of the Ottoman Empire, it was decided to keep the last flag of the Ottomans because nothing says independence more than continuing to use your oppressor's flag. That said, it was probably to maintain some sort of continuity, unlike Batman's black eye makeup disappearing just before he removes his mask in Batman Returns. But I digress ever so slightly. So, to work back from here, this flag was first used by the Ottomans as their naval ensign in the late 1700s. But these may have had a 7-pointed star instead of the 5. But going back further still to the mid-600s, when the Muslim conquest of Persia took place, where Iran was captured, these symbols were used then and adopted by new Muslim rulers. However, these were not used on flags. Flags at this time were simply plain colours like green, black or white, no markings, no writing, no symbols, as plain as the drudgery of a 9-to-5 Monday to Friday working life. Sorry, where was I? Oh yes, 9 to 5. But before the 9-to-5 colour flags, there is evidence that the Second Persian Empire were using these types of symbols on coins, which appeared throughout the Middle East from the 3rd century onwards. And where did this empire get the idea? Well, the Greek colony of Byzantium used this symbol as part of their royal emblem from around 300 BCE. And so it goes on. In fact, we can go back as far as 2100 BCE and still find a crescent symbol being used by the Babylonians in Mesopotamia to represent the god Sin, or Sun, or Nana, although I don't think my dear old grandmother would be happy to be called Sin. Anyway, god Sin's crescent moon was often seen alongside with a star representing Shamash, the sun god. Later, the moon became a female deity, notably the goddess of Artemis, along with her many counterparts, including Diana, who was celebrated as the moon goddess during the Roman times. But hold on, that's 2,500 years before Islam. How did these symbols become synonymous with a religion they hadn't even been heard of when they were first used? Well, money. And to be specific, coins. You see, it may have started with early Islamic cash in 695 CE that used the hilal or crescent moon with 5 or 6 pointed stars, later known as Solomon's seal, which had the power in the Arab world to command jinn, spirits that inhabited the earth, capable of assuming various forms and exercising extraordinary powers, who are mentioned in the Quran as being capable of good as well as evil. They also appear in Turkish folklore and appear heavily in the story of the 1001 Nights. Anyway, before I go down that jinn-infested warren, back to the subject in hand. In the 12th century, the Seljuk Turks, who were prominent in the Anatolia area, carried on the symbol, maybe as a high court of authority, which was then widely used by their successors, the Ottoman Turks, who eventually became the principal Islamic nation. In the late 19th century, the Pan-Islamic movement, sponsored by the Sultan Abdul Hamid II, used the crescent moon and star on a green flag as part of his propaganda, and from this were derived the flags of Pakistan and Egypt, also with many other Islamic states. But we're moving into other territories here. But if there was no original religious connotations to start with between the crescent moon and star with Islam, how has today's link come about? Archaeologists have found that pre-Islam Arabs worshipped a moon god, which is why this symbol was found on temples from the Nile River to present-day Turkey. And there is an argument that it was in fact the Europeans' wrong assumption that the moon and crescent was a religious and national emblem during the 19th century. That led to several Muslim governments adopting the symbol as such. But again, nothing's certain here. Either way, some present-day Muslim scholars say that the current symbols do not represent Islam, but not to forget that Islamic year is a lunar year, and each month starts with the sight of the new moon. But here's the thing specifically with Turkey. It is thought that the city of Byzantium, which later became Constantinople and obviously Istanbul, adopted the crescent moon symbol in honour of the aforementioned goddess Diana. Early city flags featured the crescent moon even before Islam was a thing. And talking of Istanbul's city flag, this video here covers today's city flag, what it means and where it comes from, and helps you increase your Turkish delights. Bon voyage!